Good day, fellow learners. This is your fact check buddy, Ray Gapuz, your mentor, joining you for another teaching and learning session, this time about one of the most well encountered issues in our professional practice, and that is actually maintaining confidentiality, especially now that most um, facilities have adopted computerized charting or electronic health records. And this is of importance to beginning nurses and, of course, to those who are about to take the NCLEX RN. So let's begin with the disclaimer. And of course, before we get to start our discussion, I'd like to ask you to join me in this mission. Our goal is to provide free NCLEX RN application review to 100 nurses. To help us achieve this, please just watch and finish the ads in our videos. Don't skip it, guys. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. So let's go back to the question. How do we ensure confidentiality in computerized charting? When you say confidentiality, that's maintaining patient data, maintaining the privacy of their data. So which means we have to protect it from any form of breach. So when you speak of computerized charting or electronic health records, there are several advantages, and among these are it's always legible, and the spelling could be improved or corrected right away using the autocorrect features. It saves time, it's easily accessible, especially among healthcare workers who are doing endorsements, and the format is consistent, and it's more convenient for the user. Most importantly, it can easily be saved and can easily be protected. That is, if the nurse is knowledgeable about how to protect the data properly using the features of your electronic health records. So there are 5 categories of data breach, and these include hacking, which is also known as your information technology incident, improper disposal, loss, theft, or unauthorized access or disclosure to other people. Now, when a data breach, which is known as a security incident, occurs, federal law requires doctors, hospitals, and other healthcare providers to notify the affected patient within 60 days. Now, sometimes this is done through first-class mail, and the Secretary of Health and Human Services is also notified. And the most important thing is that within the facility, they have to have a committee that should be specifically tasked to deal with the incident and eventually come up with recommendations to rectify the breach that has occurred. So let's try answering a sample question. Which of the following aspects of computerized documentation should be the highest priority of the nurse? Is it facilitating data access, enhancing data encoding, ensuring confidentiality of data, or transferring data efficiently? Now, if you're going to go through all of the options contained in this question, you will notice that all of these are actually the advantages of computerized documentation or computerized charting. But the question is asking which one is the highest priority of the nurse. And in this case, we have to know which among these issues do we need to prioritize in terms of addressing it first, because it affects the patient, it affects the system, it affects the hospital, and it affects the healthcare workers. So the best answer is ensuring confidentiality of data. So going back to our main question a while back, how do we ensure confidentiality in computerized charting? Here are some methods that are already built into some systems. So measures to protect confidentiality in computerized charting or electronic records includes the presence of access control tools like passwords, which you need to replace every so often, especially if there has been undue exposure of your passwords, your personal identification number, encrypting information, which really protects the patient's data, because only when um, a software that reads the encryption is used, that's the only time that the data could be properly accessed. Then, of course, audit trail, which facilitates the identification of the people who had access to the data and who among them access it the last, especially when you would want to investigate on who could have potentially facilitated the unlawful access to the patient's data. So all of these um, measures are aimed at protecting the patient's data, especially when we are doing computerized charting or encoding their data into electronic records. Okay, so let's learn together. If you have any request for any topic which you may want me to cover in my future videos, send in your request to my email, mentor.raygapuz@gmail.com. And don't forget to remember this: a functional concept a day keeps your NCLEX RN fears away. So if you love this video, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit the like and bell buttons. Those who will share it to at least 10 of their friends will shut down the NCLEX at 75 and would pass it. And those who won't would max out at 145. Okay, so I'll see you in my next video.